tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your number one source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. We're here doing another AfterBuzz TV after show for MTV's Teen Wolf, Season 4, Episode 12, Smoke and Mirrors. I'm your host, Kristen Elizabeth Snyder, and joining me, AfterBuzz TV host June Lee.
Hello.
And we have two special guests for you guys this evening. We have writer-producer Ian Stokes.
Hi.
And she plays Maya. Please welcome... Oh, she plays Meredith. Please welcome Maya Eshet.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
This was an amazing finale.
I know.
I thought it was so cinematic, like a movie. It was fantastic. From the beginning to end, we got that long panning in the temples of the church, and then in the end, it was like the outtakes through Eichen House.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to see it. I know you came to our screening.
I did.
Jeff threw. And you know, Jeff, he takes an immense amount of pride in the show, and so does our entire crew. And I mean, you were there and you saw a lot, almost our entire crew was at that screening because we work at this thing like a movie. And getting to see it on the big screen like that, you would think you're watching a movie. And everybody feels from, you know, our set PAs and our props and grips and lighting, like everybody gets to see their work on the big screen. And that's something Jeff does for the crew. And it's a really great thing.
No, it was amazing. I loved it. I made everything more scarier, everything more cinematic and fun. And I love this season how there's a real human quality. It's like the humans are the villains, are the bad guys. And then the monsters are sort of playing the good guys. And talking about that, I mean, your character, Maya, turned out to be the benefactor.
I know.
So how surprised were you? And have you played a villain before?
Well, I kind of did play a villain before, but I was really surprised. Yeah, I did not. I was like, even when I got the things, like, I'm not sure what to do. Is she really doing it because she's evil? Or is she, like, kind of still doing what she thinks is good? Or, like, what am I supposed to do with that? But
Well, you know, Meredith's character first appeared in Echo House. It was a middle of last season. And it was supposed to be kind of a one-off thing. And we really loved what Maya was brought to that small part. And we had her back in, I think it was episode 11 or 23, whatever it was, of that 3B. Yeah. And so it was weird because the show had gotten really, really dark. I mean, we went from like an episode in a mental institution to a Japanese American World War II internment camp, and then an exorcism, and then we had this crazy lady show up. And they're trying to get her to help them, and it was funny, and it was like, oh, the humor's back on the show. It was only for like 20 minutes, but it was there. And she brought so much to that role again that we were like, over the break, you know, we had a lot to think about because we only had like 2 weeks off before we had to come back and figure out another season, and we had 6 weeks to do that.
That's amazing for you guys to do that in that small amount of time.
Yeah, it was really daunting, and the only idea I came in with was I remember thinking maybe Meredith isn't so crazy. Like that would be a good twist if all of a sudden Meredith was faking it or something like that. And before I even brought it up in the room, Jeff had come up with this idea over the break. You
guys are twins, basically.
Well, he came up with this idea about the benefactor, and he's like, there's a secret person who's putting out these hit lists with these assassins, and they're all going to come to Beacon Hills, and you know somebody's going to be behind the whole thing. And I was like, and it's Meredith. And I'm like, that'll work. And then, but that's just how like the writers' room works. Is we come in that first week. Feeling like the first hour you're like, oh god, we're screwed, we're never going to come up with anything. And then after like 2 or 3 days you're like, all right, well, we're feeling pretty good. And that idea of using Meredith, and then once you start the mystery of that, we sort of went back from there, and bringing in Peter and Eichen House and banshiness of it all. And then Lydia's grandmother, those things just all kind of came out of this huge mystery. And it's the same way we did the No Gitsune story last year. We figure out the whole thing and then move back from there. And each episode you get another clue and another detail.
I love the mystery in this show. It was so suspenseful, and I know you guys don't know on set until like you didn't even know you were the benefactor until maybe like 2 weeks ahead of time, or right when you got the script.
Yeah, right when I got the script. Wow. Yeah, they told me I'm coming back, but they didn't tell me I'm coming back as the benefactor.
It was a weird day because we were shooting episode 5, and you're killed in episode 6. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's a scene. They're in the police station, and Shelley and Holland are in there, and like they're interrogating you, or you're trying to get them some information. And the script for 6 comes out, and Meredith's dead at the end of it.
Yeah.
And so Holland and Shelley are like super pissed. Like they find me and they're like, how could you kill Maya? She's so good. What are you doing? And instead of being like, oh, it's cool, I was like, yeah, well, we'll do whatever we want. Like, we're the writers.
Oh.
And but then I go back in the I wasn't that big of a dick. But I knew, and like I realized like we need to keep this a secret, and I'm like, we're not gonna tell the cast.
But did she know?
Well, that was when, and then I remember going back in the office and talking to Jeff, and I'm like, so Maya's out there, and like she just got the script where she dies. Do we know if she's going to be available in like I guess June or May or whenever we shot the final episodes?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations! Whoa.
Yeah.
So we went back out on set and we took Maya aside and we're like, so you're not really dead. But that's as much as we told her. We're like, can you be around in like the last 2 weeks of May or whenever we were planning? 9 or 10 was going to be the reveal.
Yeah.
And then she got to shoot episode 6, smugly knowing that she was not dead, and everyone on set thinks she's dead.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like whenever they took you aside and was like, you're not really dead?
Oh, that was very exciting. I was like, oh, really? I'm coming back. That's amazing. Yeah. I felt kind of bad having to keep it a secret. I understand. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
But, especially because everyone was so nice on set. Like, I can't believe they killed you. I cannot believe that. And I just have to stand there like, yeah, I know. That's horrible. Like, no.
I mean, but that's the best news you can get as an actor is that, okay, you're not really dead.
Yeah.
You're coming back.
Especially on Teen Wolf, because then you're like, ooh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no one ever really dies on Teen Wolf, but I think the new rule is you can only die once.
You can only die once.
Like I was kidding with Megan last weekend, Blaze Braden, that I was like, just so you like, the next time you die on the show, it'll probably be for real. So her first episode, she got killed.
Yeah.
And then it would turn into like a neck scar.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Very sexy
Same with
neck
Peter. I mean,
scar.
we kept him alive at the end of this episode too, just because we weren't ready.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't want his character to leave the show yet.
You did it perfectly.
So-
it was perfect.
Yeah, I was very
Well, he already
happy
died
that we
once
kept
too.
him.
It's like you can't.
that's
you
true.
don't get doubles.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
ridiculous.
He's kind of like, that villain that's always going to be there. And I think you need that. You need that villain that's always going to be opposite the hero and is always a threat so that he never feels safe, So I like that we're keeping Peter around, and I love that he's now in house with Dr.
I know,
Valak, which we'll get into
seriously.
later. But so Stephanie Golding asks, who stole the money from Peter's safe? Was that Dr. Brunsky?
Yes, that was Brunsky. The idea was that Meredith had been blackmailing Brunsky with her knowledge of he was a angel of death. And so she had known that. She knew that Brunsky had murdered Lydia's grandmother and was using that to basically control Brunsky. Probably also there was money involved. But he was the footman who went down there in the vault in 402.
We should have known.
He was the boot. I know everybody's gonna.
Well, it wasn't. It was some stunt guy. It wasn't Aaron. I mean, it wasn't going to be that easy that we actually cast the guy back then and had him walk down if we're just going to show his boots.
Right.
But stuff like that. Then that was when everybody was like, JR was like, it's me, right? Like I was, because he hadn't been in the season yet.
That's
and it's like, boots,
that was
I'm
my
always wearing boots.
That was one of my predictions. Is I thought it was him because he had reason.
Yeah.
Like Kate brought up in this episode, it's their fault that Allison's dead. I mean, often people look to blame someone, and I'm glad that he's clear-minded and he didn't. But that's when I was looking around at all the characters and who it could be if it was someone we knew. I definitely thought it would be our.
Well, that was very intentional. I mean, we definitely wanted people to think that, and
Well, you got me.
I definitely thought that too. I definitely thought that too.
Ian, you're so sneaky. Your writer ways.
You're so sneaky. What was everyone's reaction? I want to know, like, what was everyone's reaction when you were like, and it should be Meredith. The benefactor should be Meredith.
Yeah, what did the other writers
did
say?
Everybody was. We had already decided we're bringing Meredith back this season. We just didn't know for what. And I mean, that's just the way I remember the story, guys. And everybody was really on board with it because I think we all sort of thought we wanted to do a lot with Lydia this season and Lydia's powers and what being a banshee means. And we thought, one of the best ways to do that, as we've done with Scott as a werewolf, is to bring in another werewolf or bring in another banshee in this case. And we got very lucky with Maya here, and
I got very lucky with you guys.
Yeah.
I really did.
I love how much you guys are a family there.
I know, seriously, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, everybody's really pleasant and nice on set, and it's been the hours suck. but
I heard you basically all just live there.
Yeah, basically. we have a writer's trailer, an RV that we can like sleep in, or we bring with us when we're on location, and I just saw someone sent me a link to, there's an after show.
I saw that with Tyler.
Yeah, I remember when we got that, it was like a Friday night. It was when we were shooting the Lake House Party episode up in, I don't know where we were, somewhere where there was a lake house. And and Jeff was like, I'm eating lunch with Jeff, and they texted that video message to Jeff. Like, or emailed it to him, like, guess where we are. It's on MTV.com, whatever, you gotta see it. It's
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. I enjoyed it. I mean, that's just how their characters are.
No,
but,
those guys, Posey and Dylan, I mean, they're 1 and 2 on the call sheet, and they really set the tone on set, and that's just sort of the way it goes. And they're both just fantastic actors and really great leaders, especially.
What was your experience with them? Did they prank you on set?
No, I mean, they were fooling around a lot, like, just doing all kind of nonsense, but they were super nice and very welcoming, and really, like, being on set, it's one of the nicest sets I've been on, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone is super supportive, and, a lot of them already know each other so well, like you said, like a type of a family, and, yeah, so it was really nice.
It's part of it is, it's great shooting in LA. I mean, Atlanta was fantastic too, but it's everyone gets to go home at the end of the day. And in Atlanta, you're kind of like, you're in summer camp for like 4 months, and you don't get to go home.
Well, it's nice that you guys started there, so everyone appreciates what you guys have now and being able to go home. So let's talk about the episode a little bit. So Liam learns how to control his transformation, and we get a lot of hysteric moments in this scene. Do you feel like Liam's going to be part of the pack now, June? Now that he's sort of faced the benefactors, like the berserkers. I felt like he was scared to be part of Scott's pack, and he was scared of the berserkers. And in this episode, they were one and the same. Scott was a berserker, so it was nice that he got to face that fear straight on.
Right. That's a beautiful point, because he kind of overcame both by finding Scott and the berserker, and it was a very interesting choice that they used Liam to get to Scott rather than Kira or somebody that's had a history with him. I feel like Liam will become part of the pack, but I did think it was very interesting that it was Satomi's mantra that really got him there, and I wonder if that's some sort of I mean, like,
foreshadowing.
Nothing in Team Up happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things we like about, well, first of all, Liam is part of the pack officially now because we signed Sprayberry up for next season.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay.
So Sprayberry's back, which is a good sign. You'll be seeing a lot more Liam. And, I mean, that was sort of always our intention with Liam this season. And I think the thing about Satomi and him taking on that mantra is, we're always be your own anchor or find your own anchor, really. And it's about, what, as a character, like that Derek tried to use the thing that the Hales had used to help control him. And Liam needed to find his own mantra or his own thing. And it came from Satomi. That's where he found the peace.
Yeah.
And some of that was also, with Brett last week, sort of talking to him and giving him the courage to sort of, I guess man up is the phrase. But,
we had Cody on.
Yeah, well, we had Cody on who was
last
so
week,
amazing.
and he was so sweet.
So sweet.
So we hope to see
he's
more.
another guy we didn't kill after one episode, and we brought back a couple more times.
And you were supposed to, right?
I want to say that
That's what I heard.
We said we're going to cut off his head, and then we're like, oh, like we Scott Rosh is in there just as the guy's getting his head cut off. Like, poor Scott, like he can't do anything right. And so we're like, no, he can say, we'll let Brett live another day. And then they came back where we always wanted to do that sort of the Rio Bravo episode of. Episode 10, where there's the big siege in the warehouse, and Scott had to protect Satomi's pack, and so it helped that we knew somebody in that pack.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing.
That's true. That's true.
So Scott and Kira, in this episode, he actually almost kills his girlfriend. So do you feel like that's going to affect the relationship going forward? And it's nice that she learns more of her powers. She learns to heal in this episode by triggering it with pain. But if she didn't, I mean, that was like very Romeo and like Shakespearean killing your girlfriend off. Whose idea was that?
Well, everybody's tried to kill each other on this show by now. But, I think one of the things we wanted to set up was that if Scott had turned berserker, we didn't want you to think like it's going to be like Scott, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. He had to do something vicious in the beginning to really sell the threat.
Right.
And I think if Kira's not going to if he's going to hurt Kira or kill Kira, that you would think he's capable of anything, as he's possessed like that. And so that's kind of why we did it. And one of the things we had talked about in the room was that moment in remember Star Trek: The Next Generation when Captain Picard got Borged.
I don't know if I remember that.
All right, I'm sure there's plenty of geeks on the internet who know what I'm talking about.
And making fun of all the girls.
Yeah, we wanted to go for that kind of fear that are, in the same way we did with Stiles in 3B, that one of our beloved characters has been corrupted.
Gotcha.
And Arden is so good at that stuff because, she had been... She had basically already died in the internment camp episode in 3B where she played her mother and had gotten shot and stabbed. And so it was like, she breaks your heart every time she's like
knows how to die,
dying.
that girl.
Yeah, she does.
She's just so good at it.
So what can we expect with her getting a tail now? Can you tell us anything about what that entails? No pun intended.
We haven't talked a lot about season 5 yet. We're not back in the room yet. I will say that we did kind of purposely the Kitsune stuff, which we started and introduced in 3B. We loved it, but we kind of wanted to put it on a little bit of a back burner in season 4, probably because we love it too much, and we started digging into it, and it's really rich and interesting, and arguably maybe more interesting than like our werewolf mythology. Because we've all just seen hundreds of thousands of movies and shows about werewolves,
right.
And I would be surprised if we don't get back into the Kitsune stuff in season 5, which we also love. We have Arden next year, and we love Tamlin plays Nishiko. Her mother, and Tom Choi plays her dad. Like the Yukamura family are one of our favorite, some of our favorite characters to write. So we'll probably be finding out more about them.
I also felt like it said a lot about their relationship. Like Kira and Scott's relationship. The fact that like she wasn't mad at all. Like she was just like when she saw Stiles, all she was worried about was like, look, you guys can't kill a berserker or the wrong berserker because it's Scott. And like she just has like this like love.
She was very
for
understanding.
Scott,
Yeah. I was wondering, we talked about this last week, if the other berserkers, was going to be someone we knew. Did you guys think about that at all? Because we saw that Scott was like transformed into a berserker.
I mean, the idea behind it, and we didn't have much of the temple to shoot in, was part of the problem, was that Kate had found the berserkers there, and she didn't know who made them. And so they've been there since in that temple for kind of like the night in Raiders of the Last Crusade. and Peter was the one who told her how she could make Scott into a berserker.
Gotcha.
Of
course he was.
So that's why you shouldn't feel bad that we just ripped those. Well, one guy got his head blown off by a landmine.
I saw that.
And Derek just ripped the other one in half, which was pretty badass. I don't know who it was.
Oh my gosh, Derek.
So let's talk about Derek.
Okay.
So he was walking into this willing to like lay down his life to save Scott and Kira, and I thought he really was dead, but it turns out he was just evolving.
God, can we talk about the death though? I was like so heartbroken.
Were you crying like Brayden?
I mean, like I knew that he wasn't really dead because I had read something before I had watched the episode.
You read a spoiler.
So I knew, but even still, my heart broke, and it just made me so sad. I feel like Derek's changed so much, and I really love, where he's gone.
See, this spoiler nonsense getting out is why Maya has to lie to all her coworkers. We can't risk anything, even when we actually wrote because you appear at the end of episode 9 or whatever it was, the Jen's episode, when you walk out, and when we sent the script to the network, we just put confidential in that last scene.
Wow.
Because we didn't even put it in the script that Meredith stepped out because we didn't want it getting out.
That's good.
And I actually think, I don't know, I mean, I'm not the most up-to-date on the Teen Wolf blog world, but I think we kept that didn't get out, right? Like,
No.
it was a surprise, right?
No,
Oh my God.
I don't think anyone predicted
No
it.
one knew.
We did not
No one
know that you were capable of such villainous crimes.
Yeah.
I didn't know either.
So back to Derek, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that there.
So Derek, he now turns into like the pinnacle of a werewolf. From what Jeff said, this is the top. This is as far as you can go. This is what, werewolves desire to be. If not, he's not going to be the alpha anymore, but he knows now how to completely transform into a werewolf.
Well, I mean, Jeff's sort of been plotting this arc for Derek for a long time, and he's an antagonist in season 1, and still kind of an antagonist in season 2, and he fails at being an alpha, and him. From that moment, he kind of left at the end of 3A and came back and had that thing with his mother and the claws, that he's been on this heroic journey, and some of that is like, helping Scott become a better person, and in a way helping himself become a better person. And I think, the whole thing of what Kate did was more mental, that it was the next step of his evolution as into the full wolf that Talia could become. And that wolf is actually just a dog that they paint black.
What?
Really?
It's like a big dog, and I think fans are probably flipping out, oh man, Derek can turn into a full wolf. It's awesome. And I'm like, don't expect to see it a whole lot.
Wolf every time.
It's hard to
Talking
use,
wolf.
and I'm trying to remember, so the wolf jumps on Jill.
Yeah.
But the way the dog was trained is that it would jump on his trainer. So we took the trainer and we just painted her blue and put a Kate wig on her. And so
That's amazing.
when the dog jumps, and having the dog
gosh.
leap over, it's working with animals is it's harder than working with actors.
Yeah.
You're
Hard to work with?
it's a pain for us just because we're on such a tight schedule and low budget, but it was worth it, and we knew it was coming for weeks, and we got the dog reserved. I think it was the same one we used in the previous seasons when we had Talia in there.
Gotcha. Oh. No, I mean, it looked
Maybe it was a different wolf.
amazing.
It must have been a boy. I don't remember. It was a dog either way. But yeah,
It looked great. I really enjoyed it.
super friendly dog.
Do you remember its name?
Bingo.
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 Of
I made
course.
that up. I don't know. Snoopy.
Well, do we think the relationship with Brayden will continue now? Will she betray him at any point in time? Because finally he's
what
with
is-
a sane woman.
Yes. Well, who kills people for money?
She's a mercenary.
Yeah.
I mean, she's sort of I think she does. She's not an assassin.
Yeah.
She does work that for hire, but I don't.
Right.
It's
not exclusive to killing.
She's not a killer, but don't get in her way.
Yeah. But in the end, is she going with the Calaveras? Is that what's happening?
She's going to find the desert wolf.
Yeah, I thought she was going on a search to find the desert wolf, and
Completely
also it
separately.
seems like might be Malia maybe joining her. I don't know, maybe a team looking for the desert wolf, because that's supposed to be Malia's mother. So I would think even Stiles had it on his board. So
Right.
it's on the to-do list.
It definitely
Sure.
is.
And
maybe they'll use some of the money in the bag to kind of fund.
what are they gonna?
Brayden.
I can't. Yeah, Peter's not gonna be needing that.
Yeah,
anytime
he's
soon.
not going to be needing.
I don't know.
that.
I mean, Eichen House bills are pretty expensive, so maybe they'll just give it to Eichen House. I don't know. Again, you guys can call in at 424-256-1729 if you want to ask our guest a question. And don't forget, you can support us by going to iTunes and downloading and rating. We're on the first page of the podcast tab on iTunes. And you can also catch us on YouTube if you missed the live show on AfterBuzzTV.com. And continuing on with our show, I want to talk about Stiles when he was looking back at Derek and he thought that Derek was, dead or dying. And it was like that long, like, in love kind of like when you see your lover dying, but he like had to continue on. That's what I took from it.
I also kind of felt like, it kind of made him think, like, trying to, like, piece everything together. Like, what's the reason for this? And, like, I think I felt like at that moment he was maybe, like, starting to think, okay, like, how is this connecting to Scott? Like, and I almost felt like he kind of, like, had the sense of Peter's plan. Like, he was like, wait, something seems off here.
Yeah, there was a lot going on inside those eyes.
There was a lot going on.
Well, I mean, I think we kind of we were trying to sell that Derek, this is the last time he's probably going to see Derek. I think the idea that Stiles, you want that thing of Derek saying, go, I'll be fine, go save Scott, and Stiles realizing that Derek just got gored by a berserker and he's not going to be fine, and this might be the last time I see him.
That definitely came across on screen.
And we've had Derek risked his life last season to save Stiles, and he's saved, he's become a hero. He's become one of the pack. And I think I think that moment really worked and definitely convincing the audience.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about killing characters, this is like a character that died and came back to life in the same episode.
Right.
So, so you really do kill people
that's Derek's
and bring
one
them
death.
back.
Like I said, Derek's one death. Next time Derek dies, it'll be probably for real.
No.
So Parrish and Argent team up. I loved that with the Calaveras. And it looks like Argent's going off with them to hunt down Kate next season. So I'm not sure how much we'll see of his character. I feel so bad for Argent. I mean, he had to then shoot at his sister in this episode after losing his wife and his daughter. He had to hunt his only remaining family member. I was afraid he was going to die this episode because he was looking sort of rough.
Well, JR's he's so good. And especially in that scene with Kate, and there are so many other scenes where, I think, as Jeff's called before, that you can see he acts with his eyes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good way of saying it.
I would be surprised if we haven't seen the last of Argent.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, right now we haven't come back to start season 5. And, JR is so good that I wouldn't be I'm always surprised that we still have him. I'm always like, why isn't someone snatching him up?
I feel like you guys need to send him on vacation in the show. I mean, this guy just loses over and over again, and he keeps fighting.
We do get that. People are like, when are the kids just going to relax and have a nice day?
Go to Disneyland.
And we're like, that sounds boring. No one wants to watch that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like now we've fallen in love with the characters so much. It might just be fun to be someone's birthday party.
Yeah, maybe Malia's first human birthday party.
Yeah, and I'm sure ninjas will attack it or something. We'll get bored of that idea in a minute and just be like, and
wait, where's
the birthday
ninjas?
cake's poisoned.
They have some good times. They're just very brief.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's watch a movie. No, there's berserkers busting through the glass.
Well, yeah, their first date it was okay for a while, and then they got interruptus. And,
for a second.
Yeah.
They had sushi and stuff.
They've had sushi and
But you know
pizza.
what? I think maybe that's why the relationship's lasting so long. They don't really have time to fight, right?
That's
at
true.
least between each other.
One of
There's
Jeff's
something to be said about that.
cardinal rules of the show is he's not the biggest fan of the teen drama stuff that we often see on the high school shows, and so with Scott and Kira and Malia and Stiles, inevitably on these shows all you do is you break them up and you put them back together because it's one TV show and you have those characters, and so I think with Scott and Kira and Malia and Stiles this year, even though Malia and Stiles hit a bumpy road for a few episodes, that it's sort of fun to have these healthy relationships for
Absolutely.
a while.
Absolutely.
Where
It's refreshing to see actually on TV
Yeah.
a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and I think Scott and Kira are still, they're still in the beginnings of their relationship. I think they're definitely, they're pretty close.
Friends first, guys.
It's also
Friends
weird
first.
to us that, Arden has only been on the show this year. But it feels like it's hard to remember a time without her.
Because you guys had to do
God,
two
is that
seasons
true?
basically in 1 year. Well, they did 2 seasons.
Wow, that is true. I know. It feels like she's been here. She's been a part of it forever.
I know.
Yeah.
But really, I think it's only been the last 36 episodes were 3 months of the show or 6 months. I don't remember.
Well, I feel like Arden. I don't know Arden's hasn't been able to make it on yet, but I feel like she has like an old soul, and it comes through, and maybe that's why she seems to have such a strong anchor in her character. Do you know what I
agree
mean?
with that.
Like,
yeah,
there's like a depth, like even like to everything that she does.
No, she's cool.
I see it.
Yeah.
Love Arden.
Speaking of relationships, though, are we shipping Lydia and Parrish?
Totally shipping Lydia and Parrish. That's
like-
so happening.
Looks like she's gonna help him figure out who he is
Yes.
next season, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, I will say, that was one of the things with the first episode they were in together. It was the one with the Wendigo kid, and it was the first time we put those two together, and one of the fun things about that right away was that Parrish believes in Lydia. He's like, "Oh, you're psychic. That's cool." And that became something fun to play with both those characters. And I don't know whether it's going to be romantic or a close friendship, but we like seeing Ryan and Holland together, and we'll probably be doing more of that.
They have a great chemistry.
Yeah, I look forward to it, and I think everyone's sort of guessing that he's the Phoenix. That's what the interwebs are telling me. But since you said, you guys,
I don't know.
You guys really like the kitsune. You said last week someone had also brought up that there's like a fire kitsune. So
There's like 13 different kind of kitsunes.
so that's always a possibility.
Whatever the story is, it won't be like he turns the next page of that book and he's like, "Oh, there I am."
There I am.
So
His face is drawn in.
It'll be a story we'll be doing next season. But
I bet Meredith knows.
She might, yeah. I mean, she knew he had powers. She put him on the list, so.
Well, Meredith is another person who's died once and has not and has come back.
Yeah.
And
I know.
I have a feeling. Again, we haven't started doing anything, and hopefully, Maya doesn't get taken up. And she's like Batgirl on Green Arrow next week. And we keep losing kids to those. Hopefully, we still have more to do with Meredith for next season.
Yeah, I hope
yeah,
she
that'd be
becomes part of the
amazing.
pack, because Lydia never wanted to believe that you were the benefactor, and frankly, neither did we. We wanted there to be another reason. We wanted you to be good. We liked you, so we were glad that we could understand why you did what you did. It made sense to us. So, I think you were trying to do good, and I think with two banshees together, which she clearly needs another friend who can show her the ropes, I think you guys could do great things.
I hope so.
So Scott almost kills Liam, but Liam reminds him that he is a werewolf and not a monster. And we get that great moment of Scott actually breaking out of the
so
Berserker
cool.
mask and becoming an alpha, which we have not seen. It was teased like all season, so I was glad we got to see him go full alpha
Definitely.
on us.
Yeah, that was that was sort of Jeff's plan all along with Liam being the one to get through to him. And I never remember who pitches anything in the room, but I will say that I remember this one because I totally got like writer envy, which is where and Eric Wallace, our co-producer, was the one who said, and he should say, "You're not a monster, you're a werewolf," which is what he had said to. Scott had said to Liam when he first transformed in episode 4. And I remember just like, normally like, that's a great idea, but instead I was just like, the first time I was like, man, I should have thought of that. Like, that is good. And I think we were all and so, that it sort of felt like, we're always good at closing these circles on this show.
Yeah, you guys
and
are.
sometimes it's just these happy accidents, but it feels planned.
Yeah, no, it comes across that way.
Yeah.
So we get this epic fight between Scott and Peter, which we knew was going to come down to this. But I'm shocked, really, that Scott didn't have to kill him, that he stuck by that, and he was able to just knock him, like, unconscious. Because even after he knocked him out, I was like, I didn't know if he had killed him or not until Argent had said that, they had just given him Wolfbane. So, I mean, did you think he was dead? What?
Well, I mean, one of the things we did look at, there were some fans, some internet stuff where it was saying that they felt that Scott should have killed Deucalion at the end of season 3, and we were like, well, they beat the crap out of him. He was like on the ground. You literally wanted Scott, a teenage boy, to execute this man, and even after we had known his backstory and everything, and it all just sort of felt like Scott's not a killer. And to us, that's a sort of a tenet of the show. And that
Absolutely.
everything basically every bad thing that's happened in Beacon Hills has been a result of, the Argents killing the Hales killing the Argents, the Alpha Pack killing, and it solves nothing. And basically all Scott and his friends have been doing has been cleaning up the mess of people who have made these horrible decisions in the past.
Yeah.
And the reason what's so special about Scott McCall, which is what Kate asked him, is that Scott doesn't kill. Scott's going to find another way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was so glad that he didn't. I was just like, I was worried when that fight started because it looked like he was going to have to make a choice to protect his pact. It didn't seem like he could knock out Peter. It seemed like there was only one way to take him down.
Well, I will also say we didn't have a jail back then with Hoechlin, and maybe we should have had that earlier. But now we have monster jail at the bottom of Eichen House.
I love it.
Peter's not just hanging out on the upper level of the loft waiting to descend down in a V-neck. He will. He's locked up.
No, it seems like he's in for quite a lot of pain with Dr. Valak. It seems like he's going to be tortured. But I also feel like those two are mastermind villains. Yeah, so at some point, I feel like they're going to become friends and find their way out of there. It's like you don't put two masterminds in the same cell. So
I will say anything can happen. There was like I was looking at Jeff talk to Entertainment Weekly last week or yesterday, and they were saying how much they loved the jail idea, and they're like, I can't wait for someone to blow a hole in that and for all the monsters to escape. And I'm like, Entertainment Weekly, it's not your job to be pitching us stories. Now we can't do that. But I think you'll be seeing more of that, the lower level of Eichen House next year. It was an idea we're pretty excited about. So
yeah, no.
Hey, that's my home. So
Meredith lives in Eichen House.
You might be hanging out there.
I might be.
Or maybe she got a condo nearby. I don't know.
Or maybe she warns everybody about something like that happening. Meredith knows.
Could be.
Yeah. But I feel like as I watched Teen Wolf, I've become a better person. I was really I was really meditating on the fact that Scott really, really did not. He stuck by it. He didn't kill it, and he returned the money. And I was just wow, that's what makes a truly amazing person. Is that when things get tough, you still stick to your values.
And I think it was a very well built moment because throughout the season we discussed so many times, whether or not is he going to kill someone, is he not? And then the last episode, you think it might happen. Yeah. And then you find out it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And but you really have that moment. Oh no, did he do it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Peter was trying to even goad him into it.
I think
saying you've never killed, and and even if Scott had killed Peter, in a way, Peter still would have won.
Yes. And I feel like it kind of pisses him off. I think it pisses Peter off that he's not Scott McCall. He's not special.
Yeah, he's obviously very jealous.
Well, that's why that ending is so awesome. Because you don't want to see him dead. You want to see him suffer for what he did.
Yeah. I know. It was a perfect ending.
And I loved his look, too. Peter's look was, amazing. I don't think we've seen him like that before.
I'll tell you a little bit about...
Or when?
His whole makeup and everything.
So we did that scene. Here's a little behind the scenes. We do a lot, but the last month of production is insane. And oftentimes we know we're going to have these epilogue scenes, with Parrish and Lydia. And if we happen to have those actors together on set for that scene, we will shoot that epilogue scene, and sometimes we'll be hastily kind of writing it on the fly. Because Jeff and I have talked, or the writers will sort of talk about what these final moments are. Even by midway through the season, we kind of know. We knew about that scene with Parrish and the bestiary, and Dr. Valak was we had I can't remember the actor's name, Stephen Brand. So he's in there for one day to do the beginning of episode 11, and it was the set was so cool, that Hannibal thing. And we're like, oh, we know. Because we knew we were going to throw Peter in there at the end of the prison. We're like, no, we're throwing him in the prison with this guy. And it's going to be awesome. And then Stephen Brand is leaving to go do a pilot the next day for, I think, AMC. And so we can only have him today. Wow. So we're all right, we got to shoot this. We don't have it written yet, but we're going to do this. And so, we're making all these phone calls while they're doing the first scene. They're not even done with the first scene he's doing, but we love this guy. And we have to, so where's Bowen? Bowen's in San Francisco. So we call Bowen. Bowen's like, and this is how devoted Ian is to the show. He's like, I can be down there in 6 hours.
Wow.
So he races down, we're getting updates. Will he make it on time? We're calling Stephen Brand's people, telling him we're going to book him for another episode, but we have to shoot it right now. He has to delay his flight a couple of hours. But we got that scene, Russell came in and directed it. And I mean, like, even when we're doing all this, Jeff and I realized we hadn't written it yet. So then we had to go, like, put out those pages. But that was, that scene was just, it was such a great way to end that season.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, we got to see Malia for a little bit, and I love the part where she was going to smell Scott's underwear, and then she finds the pillow.
Yeah.
But it was funny that Stiles was like, "Oh, here's my best friend's underwear," and they're like in a relationship. It was so funny.
For to save his life.
Yeah, exactly.
situation.
Anything. Smell these. It's to save my best friend's life. So it doesn't look like we're gonna get father-daughter moments. Ian kind of throws her up against the wall.
I cannot. And he's like, "We'll talk about this
He's not
later."
going to win Father of
the Year. No. Well, I want to get into our predictions and then go into an interview with you guys specifically. So I know.
You're AFTERBUZZ.
Do you guys feel?
I didn't know you guys
Season
had special
5.
effects.
Yeah.
This is like,
Oh yeah,
This is our special effects department.
we have the
from
lightning
anything.
button. We have that on Teen Wolf too. You'll notice anytime someone's standing in front of a window and Russell or somebody will just hit that button and lightning will crash outside.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
I need that at my house.
They got, if you look in like 3A, there's like by episode 8, there was a talk like you guys got to stop hitting the lightning button. Like, every time Deucalion speaks, like lightning crash behind him.
Oh, I love Deucalion. So season 5, I heard Jeff say in an interview that if we paid attention to stuff in this season, we would be going back to some of that, specifically Lydia's backstory and her family. Did he speak to you about any of that? Nothing you can say?
We've been talking, and I think I don't think I want to say anything more than that. I will say that there are clearly a lot of unanswered questions about what Lydia's grandmother was up to, involving Meredith and the quiet room and the headphones and the computer and the scientists and all sorts of stuff. And we have stuff that we've been talking about that we're hoping to get into. So
I'm excited about it because I loved that white room, and it was like we were all like, "What happened in there?" And then there was that picture of you in there, and it was just like
She looks so sweet and innocent.
well, that room was it was really cool. Like and you had to like clean your shoes or take your shoes off.
Yeah, like everyone was just walking barefoot. Yeah,
wow.
because the
filming.
carpet's so white and the whole planet looks so clean that like us dirty crew guys and producers
not
are
allowed
silly.
in there.
No, we're not allowed.
Stay out. So what are your predictions, or what do you want to see in season 5, June?
I want to see more Stiles and Malia, but I also I know that a lot of fans are just wondering if there's going to be an arc to Stiles. Like, I feel like he's pretty much I don't know. There was a Nugget Snake too. I don't know. I want to see everything.
You want to see those too. I want to see.
This is what I realized while we've been doing this show is that like I'm just like not as good as a writer. So like there's no point in me like trying to come up with stuff because
It's okay, June.
it's like it never is like anything. That I was like, no, Scott should take the money. No, kill Peter. Like, okay,
June's writing the show for you weekly, basically.
Yeah.
I would have taken the money.
I don't know.
You'll be seeing more
I
Stiles
justified.
next year.
I thought it was justified.
More
Okay.
Stiles, yes. Well, I want to see Lydia and Parrish like slow falling in love. I feel like Lydia deserves it. I think everyone loves Parrish. I think it would
love
be nice
Parrish.
if it was just like that undertone that we got with Stiles and Lydia. That's why everyone, I think, loved it and wanted it, because it wasn't like, it didn't push them together right away. It was teased. So I kind of like that. And like you said, it's already natural. He respects her and he finds it cool, her abilities. So it kind of just makes sense to me that it'll be obvious to other people, but they won't maybe admit it. I don't know. I love them together. I felt the chemistry on screen.
Definitely.
And obviously I want to know what Parrish is. I want to see him in full form. I want him to go
Totally.
all Phoenix on us or whatever he is.
Whatever it'll be.
Whatever it is.
All right, well, I want to talk to you guys a little bit, get into an interview about your personal lives more so. And now we always ask what specifically from your childhood kind of led you into the industry. Some people, got started in plays, or we had one of the editors, Corey Trench, say that he used to draw comics and then sell them to his parents, which I thought was amazing. So what maybe from your childhood would you say kind of directed you into being an actor?
Well, both my parents are in theater. My mom used to act. Now she directs a little bit and acts every once in a while. And my dad actually used to run an acting school, and now he has his own theater company. So I was kind of born into it. I mean, my parents never try to like push me to go anyway. I kind of admired them growing up. I was like, oh, I want to be like this when I grow up. And yeah.
Wow.
What was like your first thing when you decided like I want to try out for something, I want to act?
Well, I did a lot, like a lot of kids do. I did a lot of like living room plays.
Yes.
Oh, you have to watch this.
That's what we want to hear about.
Pretend,
Did you drag your sister into the plays?
Yeah. Well, she was willing.
She was a willing participant in these plays.
Yeah. No, they were. I have two sisters, and we all kind of just enjoyed it. So yeah, I started like that, and then when I was like 9, my dad's friend asked about like a voiceover gig. They were looking for kids, and I auditioned, and kind of that's the first real job I had as an actor. It wasn't on a regular basis, but
do you still do voiceover work now?
Right now, not for a while. Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing. Hey,
everyone.
You have a great
Listen to that great voice.
Yeah, you have a great voice.
I remember Maya's. When we get auditions, we'll watch them together in like the office and see the tapes, and they give us like for everybody. I guess there's like 10 Merediths or whatever, and everyone doing it. And Maya was definitely the spookiest.
Oh yeah.
Like she had the whole like I'm gonna look down.
Like, that's awesome.
Set up already, and we're like, that's Meredith, all right.
Oh yeah, it was a fun one to prepare. I mean, she's just so much fun to do.
What was your inspiration for that character when you got that script? Like, what did you kind of look at? What material or movies or TV shows?
Well, mostly just looked at it and saw like that she's in a mental institution, and I said like, oh, this is such a great opportunity because I could do pretty much anything I want. I was like, oh, so I'm just gonna go really far with it and have fun, and yeah, that was really.
Well, creepy. I mean, we had the same thing with Ryan Kelly. Like he came on as a deputy, and there was no necessarily plans to make him supernatural. Same with Meredith. That it's just like we're gonna see if this actor pops with the material they have, and if they are, then we'll add more. And I think same with Braden, Megan, with. We had that phone call scene and a couple of other really creepy, fun scenes, and then it was, well, now she's going to be a banshee, and we're going to bring her back in 11. And sort of the same thing with Ryan, where we have these small roles initially, and we try to make Jeff really tries to make every scene count. And so it gives I hope it gives the actors like a chance to shine in something that doesn't necessarily seem like it's the biggest role right away. But these actors, they pop all the time for us, and Maya's just one of them.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know we've talked to you about before what sort of led you to the industry, but can you remind us like a story from your childhood?
I guess I'll say what I like about TV more than I'm a writer, but I never like sit alone in a room and write. I don't really do that as much anymore. With TV, it's all about group writing, which is a lot more fun and social. And, it's all of us sitting in a room, breaking out outlines and telling stories all together. And there's a communal aspect of it that's the one thing I never really got into writing was I had to be alone all the time and sit. And that's why you see people sitting in coffee shops. I don't think they like it either. They don't like being alone either with their thoughts.
Were you writing as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for it, and I did plenty of writing. But TV was always sort of the end game. And I mean, I love the possibility that we can do anything. And I mean, I've been fortunate to work I was on a show called Warehouse 13 where the sky was the limit. It was a sci-fi show. And the same thing sort of here with Teen Wolf, which is a show that basically started out with sort of this small town feel, and now we have 9,000-year-old Japanese demons, mouthless assassins. Like on Teen Wolf, there's no bad pitch in the room. Like the crazier the idea, like the more potential it has. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I hadn't thought about it that way, but there really aren't any limitations in Teen Wolf.
Yeah. No.
I mean, that's what makes it so entertaining is we can't guess.
Yeah, I know.
We have no idea.
That's true. But I feel like at the same time, the core things, the foundations are so strong that it allows for all of that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that it allows for the flexibility as well.
I was just thinking when we were talking about the Echo House episode, the first one you were in. It's one of my favorite episodes because we never get out of the town, and that was the first time we had done an episode in a while where we sent Stiles, Dylan, into this mental institution populated with like new characters, and that's where we got Meredith, and it was really the first time we saw Shelley too, as Malia, because she had just been a naked girl in the woods previously. And
totally
from that episode, that gave us 3 great characters who all really popped. Even God, I don't remember his name. The guy
he was so funny.
His roommate.
Oh my god, I love that
Oliver.
character.
Oliver.
But
I forget
Oliver
the actor's
died,
name.
right?
No, he's not dead.
No, I thought he did.
Wait, I thought he died.
Stiles punched him, knocked him out with the drill. I remember that.
Oh my god.
Oliver's still out there.
We need to bring him back. I loved that guy. He was hilarious.
So funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and that's another fun thing about shooting in LA and everything is that if we see somebody we like, chances are they're in town.
That's a good point. Can you guys tell us maybe one of your favorite set experiences? Ian Bowen was telling us how Hoechlin sent an ice cream truck to a set one time.
That was awesome
for everybody.
They had this ice cream that they would put a cup of ice cream in a thing of coffee. And by the way, it was there at 4 a.m.
I was going to ask what time this ice cream truck came.
I think it was the last night or the night before the last night. I don't know.
It's called affogato.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what it was called.
Yeah.
I don't know why you know that, June.
Because I love it. It's espresso with scoop of ice cream in it.
Oh, good. Okay. We'll have to find that truck. So do you guys have a favorite set experience you can remember?
Well, I wish I was there for the ice cream.
You weren't there for any food trucks? They come sporadically.
Yeah.
We try to space them out, but...
I don't think... Maybe I was. I don't remember. But that one sounds
you
like
might
a
have been
really
lucky
good
not
one.
to avoid all the late night shoots.
Yeah, I
most
had
of your scenes were
one,
kinda-
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel because we did a lot of stuff with the inserts with you, where you're in the white room or in the house, the flashback stuff. Yeah.
Or in the writer's room? Can you think of?
I was just thinking. All right, this will be a season 5 spoiler.
Please.
So near the last day, it must have been. It was the scene we're doing with Mason, Kylan, and Holland in the basement.
Right.
And I'm just we're so close to being done, but I'm barely conscious for the last month. And Holland runs up to me, and Holland loves dogs. I think the last time I was here, I said my dog peed on Holland accidentally.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was twice. But Holland loves dogs, and so Holland loves her dog Fievel most of all. And Holland comes up to me and got that look in her eye like she won something, and I'm like, oh no, I'm so whatever. And she's telling me her dog is being trained by a show dog person. She's sending her dog off to summer camp over the summer.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And she made, I think me and Jeff promised that we would put her dog on the show next season. If it got certified and trained. I have no idea how any of this works.
Yeah,
It's like
a little dog.
It's a little cute dog.
Yeah.
It's the cutest. It's very well groomed and
What kind of dog is it?
I don't remember. I know she got it in Atlanta. It's furry. It's got the nice silky fur and
What
it likes to play
color?
fetch.
What color?
Brownish.
Maybe it's a Cocker Spaniel,
Well, look,
Pomeranian.
if Holland, I'll reiterate my promise to her that if that dog is trained and we're legally allowed to use it, we'll find somewhere to put.
Bring a little baby. It's a
there's your
werewolf
first,
baby.
There's your first casting of season 5.
Yes, you heard it first, guys. AfterBuzz exclusive.
Play the new kid in school.
The new kid is a dog.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Oh yeah, we just need a speaking dog now.
Are you guys working on any other projects right now?
I just finished. I did actually a theater show that I directed, which was super fun. It was less than a week of performances, but it was super fun. And yeah, just things come and go.
Where did you do that?
I did it in Hollywood in a theater. Yeah.
She's acting like it's no big deal. I mean, that's
which
awesome.
theater?
You were directing a show.
It's called the Complex Theater. It was basically just me and a bunch of actor friends from school that just moved here from New York City, and we decided to do it together, and it was very fun.
See, now you got to exploit that Teen Wolf audience and get them to come to your plays.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, actually,
yeah.
we're gonna go see Aaron Hendry, who played.
Oh yeah, I heard
Next
that in your
Sunday,
Yeah.
we're going to the Lear. Yeah, you guys should come.
Yeah,
Aaron's
we
like-
closed the play, so right now nothing is going
Yeah.
on. But hey, come
In
to
the
the next
future,
one.
in the
Yeah.
future,
Yeah,
let
you
us
got to
know.
use that. That's what the Twitter's
Let
for.
us know.
It's true. I'm so bad at social media. Sorry, everyone.
No, I'm
No
worse at it.
respects.
That's one of the things that took me off guard with Teen Wolf was like when I got the job, like I had no idea the show was popular. Like nobody told me. Like I watched the show, which normally means it's not popular. Like my tastes are kind of obscure, and so I was taken way off guard by how huge and massive and devoted the fan base is.
No, they really are. I was watching it before Corey Trench, my friend, got the assistant editor job, and he told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, that show's awesome! You have to watch it." So it had a huge following ever since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you guys are working on it. Are you working on anything else right now? I know you just got a few days off, right?
We got to go back in there pretty soon. Whatever. I think we're going to try to get back. There won't be a new season this winter because we won't have shot anything. But that's something. It's nice. I don't know. We'll probably start shooting again in early January, February, something like that. Dylan and Posey are making tons of movies or whatever. So,
I heard.
and also, but this winter, if you are missing Teen Wolf, I know that Christian Taylor, who is our Cody P in seasons 2 and 3,
Yes.
is taking over, or has a show called Eye Candy that is going to be on MTV.
Yeah.
Probably in our time slot in like January.
Awesome. We love Christian.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's I know a lot.
great.
I think some people from behind the scenes on our show, because we're not filming right now, are helping him out in New York.
Oh,
So I imagine if you like Teen Wolf, you will probably like Eye Candy,
awesome. We will definitely
Nice.
watch
Yeah,
that.
we'll definitely
and you
check
should
it
do
out.
a show for it.
We will.
Yeah,
We love
Christian
Christian.
will come in here.
Yeah, Christian's
Yeah, if
awesome.
he's
With his British accent and his
He's
unbuttoned
amazing.
shirts.
And his glasses, we love those.
And
Yeah.
the hair.
Yes, and the hair.
And the hair.
We will definitely. It was so nice for you to plug his show. You guys, every time I have someone on from the show, you guys are always plugging each other's stuff.
I
It's
know, all the
amazing. You guys
time.
are so sweet.
so supportive.
Where can the fans follow you guys on Twitter? Even though you don't really use it.
The Twitter at Ian Stokes 82.
Awesome. And where can we follow you, Maya?
I have an Instagram. It's just my name, Maya Eshet. Probably. Yeah, I think that's
You're
it.
not on
but
Twitter?
No, I'm
You
not
gotta
on
get on
Twitter.
Twitter.
I
know.
followed someone with your name.
It wasn't me.
Oh no! I also like tweeted
You
it
have
out.
imposters now. You've been identity thiefed.
Yes, I
Yeah,
have.
you gotta get
Oh
verified.
yeah, you can get verified.
June, where can
Okay.
we follow you?
You guys can follow me at Miss June Lee, MS_JUNELEE.
Awesome, and you guys can follow me at Cinematic Escape, or you can check out my blog, cinematicescape.com.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been an amazing season.
Yep.
Thank you guys for coming on. And
See you next year.
We'll see you next year.
See you next year. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.